Welcome to GovCon Unscripted, where we dive into the unfiltered stories and strategies from all around the world of government contracting. Join host Chelsea Roberts as she explores how to navigate, thrive, and win in this complex but lucrative industry.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to GovCon Unscripted. I'm your host, Chelsea Roberts, CEO of Collaborative Compositions. And today I've got with us Michelle Burnett, Vice Chair of the HUBZone Council. Michelle, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, as you mentioned, I'm Michelle Burnett, and I am the Vice Chair of the HUBZone Contractors National Council, which is an advocacy organization that has been supporting the HUBZone businesses and the community for over 26 years. So the HUBZone Contractors National Council, we are a national organization. We have an exorbitant amount of members from all walks of life, small businesses, large businesses, professional services providers. So I'm really excited to be here today. And my history, I've been working with the HUBZone program since I was 20 years old. I love these businesses. I love the program's mission, and I'm just excited to be here to talk more about it.
And you all have a conference coming up soon, isn't that right?
Yes, don't remind me. So we do have the National HUBZone Conference is July 21st and 22nd with a golf outing on July 20th. It's at the Westfields Marriott in Chantilly, Virginia. I'm really excited about all the things that we are getting lined up for the conference, but I'm not going to lie, my nerves are just all over the place because it is a huge undertaking in order to put on a conference like this. And full disclosure, I was previously the executive director for the council. I've never been a fan with event management. I love being able to put together the different puzzle pieces, bring together amazing speakers, and really talk about hard-hitting topics. But the logistical nightmare that it comes with planning a conference is an ordeal. At this year's conference, we've got some really cool things that I'm excited to share with everybody. We're going to have a 3D interactive map of the exhibit hall that's going to be brought to you by our partners at Absolute GIS. They've created a framework called the Proximity Intel. And the way that it works, and I don't want to try to butcher it, but essentially it's mapping out all of the connections of businesses. So a lot of your information, the companies that you've partnered with, subcontracting agreements, that information is all publicly available data. So they've captured that down, pulled that into the exhibit hall to where you can identify and make these mind maps of, oh, you know, this person and this person is this person, if you're trying to get to them, to create that environment for warm introductions. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing at the conference. We're also going to have one-on-one matchmaking that's going to be powered by a group of match industry professionals, of which Chelsea is actually one of those ones that's been really helping us with shaping that narrative for Matchmaking 360. Basically, what we're trying to do is to figure out more innovative ways in order to promote connections amongst buyers. We are going to use AR-powered tools through Teaming Pro, which is going to be super cool. Teaming Pro run by Tim Haggerty, who's one of our board of directors. He's actually developed a proprietary algorithm in order to connect these businesses, because our whole focus of this year's conference is about innovative teaming strategies. How can we bring people together in order to bridge that gap? Because unfortunately, I've been getting a lot of calls from small businesses and feeling like the rug's being pulled out from under them. They don't know how they're going to compete. And the best advice I can give to people is find a way to team.
Right. And finding those connections that you might not have known about or that you might not be previously connected to, and bringing all of those people together in one facility and giving them the tools that they need to build those warm relationships and to nurture those connections is something that's really unique about this year's conference. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really engaging and an innovative opportunity to get deep in technology and deep in those relationships and conversations that really sort of power those connections going forward. So I'm really excited to see who comes and what comes out of it. And speaking about who comes, who should come to this year's conference?
So I really would like to have a lot of these strong HUBZone small businesses, because we have an exorbitant amount of federal agencies as well as large businesses that are coming to the conference, and we historically always have. We sometimes have over 100 large businesses and government agencies participating in one matchmaking, which there's a part of me that's super excited about that when there's that much of a turnout, because historically over time, people have always felt like left on the back burner. It's the only small business program to have never met the procurement goal. But each year at the HUBZone conference, people really do show up. To be perfectly honest, I probably have more large businesses and government agencies registered to participate right now than I do the small businesses. And that's a problem, not because I'm super grateful to have these agencies and primes participating, but what this event is for is to create an environment for the HUBZone small business community to come together, to share their pain points, to identify the areas in which we can improve. We've been working very closely with SBA. We're excited that Ryan Lambert is going to be joining us as one of our keynote speakers. And we want to be able to talk about some of the HUBZone program improvements, because I'll be the first one to say, I love the HUBZone program. I love what it stands for, where it's founded on the principles of the multiplier effect. However, in many instances, the execution for this program is flawed because some of the rules and regulations that are created to try to confirm compliance sometimes are counterintuitive and are not in alignment with what it's really like for small businesses. I'm hoping that small businesses come and show up. We're going to have a whole advocacy track that's going to be kicking off our tour. I'm really excited that the individual that's going to be handling our advocacy and action panel and really shaping that narrative, which is going to be the morning of July 21st, is David Mullis, who's the former representative from the SBA's Office of Advocacy and is now with GovCon Pros.
Oh, wow.
Give a little plug. GovCon Pros has really been stepping up lately. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys have been noticing that, but they're trying to be a voice for small business. And right now we do need it. We need individuals that are willing to rock the boat, ones that are willing to stand up and say, hey, listen, before you make these decisions, let's think this through. And we at the small business community, we need to rally behind that. When we have public comment letters for the FAR overhaul, it's all of our responsibilities to be able to step up and provide that commentary. And that's what we're really trying to use this HUBZone conference for, because we recognize people are super busy, but the businesses in our network are brilliant. And if we find ways to put our heads together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. We can make change possible. I've witnessed it firsthand. That's why I'm such a strong advocate for the HUBZone Council and this program, is that in 2019, when we had the big overhaul, a lot of the recommendations that the council had submitted to the SBA, which were not in their original rule changes, such as the 10-year grandfathering for if you purchase a building, also with changing of the language of the non-metropolitan counties, each of these changes led to thousands of companies maintaining their HUBZone status, but also gave an environment where people didn't feel like the rug was going to be pulled out from under them. But that gave me that advocacy itch, because it showcased to me that, hey, listen, if we come together and we're all working in lockstep, that we can make change possible. And I think a lot of people right now don't feel like their voice matters, and it's just not true.
And if they can come out, if they can show up, if they can show out and really make themselves known and participate in those advocacy actions, and if they can bring their voice to the top, to the surface, where the folks are going to listen and they're going to take their opinions, they're going to take their thoughts, and they're going to take their viewpoints into consideration, they have the power to make big changes to small business programs, and they have the opportunity to really have their voice heard and their thoughts taken into consideration. But if you don't show up and if you don't come to the table, then how is anybody supposed to know that you're out there? How's anybody supposed to get the benefit from what you think and how you think things should change if you aren't there and you aren't participating? So I think that these events give companies of all sizes the opportunity to really get engaged in the multifaceted aspects that it takes to really move the needle for these programs, especially programs like the HUBZone program, where you've got folks that are so committed and so dedicated to actually making some changes and advocating for those changes on behalf of these companies. And it's hard if they don't come, if they don't show up, if they aren't willing to advocate for themselves in these opportunities that they're given to get there, to get their voices heard and to be at the table, then it's really hard to bring them forward and pull them out of the shadows and say, hey, yeah, participate. It tends to be a little bit more difficult. And I think it's interesting that there's so many large businesses involved. Are those large businesses HUBZone businesses?
No, so HUBZones have to be all small businesses,
Okay.
but we've always had a very large participation from our large businesses. That happened. Honestly, one of the things that we do offer at the conference is that we partnered with ASC, and they host their annual SBLO Center of Excellence type of training, which gives an environment, because the purpose of this conference is we've turned it almost into a think tank, a meeting of the minds. There's a lot of things happening, and it's hard to slow down and even absorb it. And I hope that this conference can kind of be 2 days where we really get down to the nitty gritty. We talk about some of the issues that people are experiencing, but we don't just address the elephant in the room, but we actually talk about solutions. And I feel like a lot of the communications that have been coming out through LinkedIn and being addressed at events is they're taking this away and they're pulling this away and we got to fight to keep it. I take it from a little bit of a different perspective. If these programs and these languages being removed, it might be because it wasn't being effective. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be replacing it with something, but we need to look at it. Was it working effectively? And if it wasn't, how can we make the change? HUBZone program is a prime example. I believe in this program. I believe when it's implemented properly, it can make a very positive impact. I know that because I've lived it. My parents relocated into a qualified HUBZone area and over the course of their career had created hundreds of jobs in a HUBZone community. And I saw how it changed the trajectory of that entire community. And that's what drove me into this whole role and this mission and supporting this organization. And this council, honestly, the HUBZone program probably would not exist if it wasn't for this organization. There's been numerous occasions where the program was on the chopping block. We all came together and advocated, and we're showing like, hey, listen, this program is important. And when we're looking at all these small business programs claiming that they're riddled with fraud, waste, and abuse, is that because the businesses are fraudulent or because of the fact that our execution is a little bit flawed? And maybe we just need to relook and reassess the way that we're administering these contracts, because creating jobs in underdeveloped communities, I don't know how anybody can say that's bad. You know, you have areas that are impacted by high unemployment, low median income. They need these well-paying jobs. They need to have these opportunities. They need to have these educated individuals that are willing to come in and invest in these communities. So I will scream at the top of my lungs that I believe that the HUBZone program is the way to be able to support reshoring of U.S. manufacturing. It is the way to be able to create jobs and create economic equality throughout the nation, not by giving a handout, but giving a hand up, giving people the opportunity to be able to showcase the capabilities they have and prove that if they're given the chance, that anything is possible.
And I think that having that much large business support really shows that there is a lot of buy-in, there is a lot of support, and there is a lot of, even at some of these larger businesses, there is a desire to further that initiative and to further that progress in smaller businesses. Because if they didn't believe in it, first of all, they probably wouldn't be there. And they're all looking for opportunities to help their local areas and to help reshore their manufacturing industrial base, to help their supply chains. So it gives businesses a bigger opportunity than just coming and socializing with other hub zones or socializing with the council. It really gives them an opportunity to engage with companies that have some desire to vest interest in their well-being and their success, and to really bring them up along with them, which I think a lot of that creative teaming and all of those discussions that are going to be at the conference this year are going to be really helpful and really productive, because some of these small businesses, they just don't really know how to team. They don't really know how to best leverage the resources of the businesses around them and how to collaborate as effectively as possible to make bigger pies, rather than just seeing it as taking a chunk of the same pie that they might not otherwise get. So I think that there's a lot of value to having that large business buy-in and to having all of the small business hub zones that can come to the event, having them show up and having them have some of these conversations to get them not only excited, but to really help them understand the different ways that they can leverage the resources and support that are offered to them through various means and mechanisms like the council, and teaming with other large businesses that are interested and that have their best interest at heart when they go to form some of these teaming and subcontracting relationships. So I'm really excited about those conversations that are going to be had.
And to pinpoint it, I think a lot of the small businesses too just need that synergistic. People do business with people. And that's the whole point of these conferences, is that everything has become very digital. And we need to get back to creating an environment where these individuals can interconnect, get to know one another, and figure out, is this a good connection? I personally like to meet people in person before I do business with them. That's kind of the way that I am. And that's what we're trying to provide, that environment at the HUBZone Conference. But full disclosure, for the HUBZone Council, we've been doing the HUBZone Conference for almost nearly 2 decades. And it's always been a meeting of the minds, to be able to have a voice that is geared towards the HUBZone community, to make sure that they realize, hey, we are here. This is the impact that these businesses are making, but we do need your help. One of the things that we're going to be doing at this year's conference is we're going to try to be able to talk to our members about what the future holds for the HUBZone Council. I'm really excited that the HUBZone Council has developed some strategic partnerships with various organizations. And we recently submitted a proposal to SBA's E2G grant proposal. And our proposal name was actually the consortium. We built a consortium of a bunch of individuals that all came together towards a shared mission on how do we better serve the HUBZone small business community and help reshoring of the U.S. manufacturing. And we coined it HUBZone On The Rise. So at this year's HUBZone Conference, that is one of the things that we're really going to be announcing, explaining to individuals, how can you get involved? And what HUBZone On The Rise is basically just a platform of all these individual companies that have various skill sets and capabilities coming together in order to go after opportunities and compete with one another in order to pursue the opportunity. How our grant proposal was done is that we are strategically targeting the Appalachia region, identifying different businesses and core industry sectors and doing strategic outreach, doing GIS mapping and overlays, and being able to look at different core competencies and assessing the existing infrastructure of these communities in order to come in there, look at what they do have, and be able to amplify it. The thing is that all of these small businesses in these communities and even HUBZone communities, they have an infrastructure. They have workforce development, they have economic development, they have nonprofits, they have universities, they have educational leaders, they have all this different stuff. But a lot of times it's all very disconnected and disjointed.
Right.
Our objective is to come in and use advanced technology, assess the existing infrastructure, and be able to communicate to individuals, hey, did you know about this? Were you able to do it? Because people need that human element connection. They don't need another email correspondence. They don't need another laundry list of all the things that they need to do. They need a partner. They need somebody that's going to say, hey, listen, it's nervous system calibration. Right now, people are so overwhelmed. It's information overload and their bodies are shutting down. And what we're trying to do is, how do we create that body doubling component? How do we bring back true mentorship? So instead of just telling people, hey, this is what you should do, how do we walk them through it and be able to make them feel like they have a true partner in all of this? Because I know for me right now, I'm extremely overwhelmed trying to do all this stuff at the conference. I'm an unpaid volunteer. So I am the vice chair. So that means I am unpaid. I am a volunteer. I'm extremely overwhelmed. But I believe in this program. I believe in the companies. And I know that if we find a way to all come together and work in lockstep, that we can make a significant impact. And I'm just holding on to that hope. And I really do hope that other people will show up and will want to be a part of this, because everybody always tells me the reason why they resonate with me is because they can feel my passion. But now I'm hoping that passion will resonate through to them and encourage them to be a part of it. We all want to leave this planet better than what we found it. And I do think that the HUBZone program is one way, and it's a very strong mission, because all it is about community. It's about teamwork. It's about getting smart, intelligent individuals to relocate into underdeveloped communities and invest. So there's a direct overlay with opportunity zones. There's a direct overlay with manufacturing. It all aligns with this administration's agenda. And I'm just hoping that other people will realize that, and that we'll start seeing this trickle down effect in these HUBZone communities.
And that's why I'm hoping that this episode specifically of GovCon Unscripted lights a fire under folks and gets people interested and really gets them out there and gets them to show up and to show out at the HUBZone Conference. Because if anywhere we need your voice, we want your voice, and we want you present, it's at the conference this year. So for everyone out there, how can they find more about the conference? How can they find more about the council? Where do they go for information?
So all the information is on our website, www.hubzonecouncil.org. I do apologize. I know a lot of people remind me, they're like, hey, your website could do some work. Absolutely. We're actually working with some strategic growth strategists right now about what is the future going to hold for the HUBZone Council. So not only are we planning this event, we are shaping the narrative of this HUBZone conference to align with what do we do? If you support us, how could we better serve you? Because for a very long time, the HUBZone Council has done a lot with very little. We have never received any sort of federal funds. We are a 501c6 advocacy organization, and not to toot our horn, like I said, this program probably would not exist if this organization was not formed. So each and every person that has been a part of the HUBZone Council, you are a part of this movement. And I encourage you to be able to help us, because the HUBZone program, for the first time in history, since the 26 years that it's been around, finally, this administration is recognizing that this is a true economic driver and it can be very impactful. But we need to be able to show up as the HUBZone community and show the capacity and the capability of these companies and these businesses. And I'm just praying that I've dedicated my life to really serve these businesses. And I hope that they will realize that sacrifice and want to be able to come in and step up to the calling. Like Chelsea, I'm so grateful for you. You have been an amazing advocate. And she is going to be actively involved with the HUBZone Conference, because I don't know, anybody that follows her just realizes that she just radiates, that she is so charismatic, so genuine. And I'm so blessed, and I'm thankful to be able to have the opportunity to work with you. And I'm really grateful. I'm glad that I'm going to be seeing you in July, and hopefully some of the businesses that are within your network that feel the same way about you that I do. Because Chelsea, with GovCon Unscripted, you give people a platform to really be able to speak their voice. And that's so meaningful, and it's so beautiful. And I know it takes a lot of work. So I'm immensely grateful for everything that you do.
I can't explain to you how grateful for what you do, how grateful I am for what you do with the council and for all the advocacy that you do for the HUBZone businesses that are out there and all of the people that you bring together under such a common and united purpose. It really does bring folks together, and it really does start to burn and churn the passion within folks. And so it really gets folks excited, and it really starts to get folks interested. So folks that are listening to this, I hope everyone gets an opportunity to make it out to the HUBZone conference. If you don't, go golf. Please have a good time. Get out there, have a good time and golf, and then come in and have some conversations about the real advocacy work and the real businesses that are growing and that are starting to develop throughout the country, because those are the folks that are going to be the backbone of our industrial base as we go forward. So I am really excited about the conference, and I'm really excited to get together with you as well. I think it's going to be a great event and a great opportunity for folks to come out and connect and to start forming those relationships and nurturing some of those connections. I'm really looking forward to it. And that's all for this week on GovCon Unscripted. And we'll see you all next time when we come back for the next episode of the HUBZone On The Rise. So we appreciate it. And thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Thanks for listening to this episode of GovCon Unscripted with your host, Chelsea Roberts. Do you have a GovCon story or need guidance in government contracting? Connect with Chelsea on LinkedIn to be a guest on the show or to enhance your business strategy. Don't forget, your network is your net worth. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your growing GovCon community.